Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. Senator, thanks so much for being here. What lessons did we learn from Katrina that we can apply here to Dorian?
Number one, the power of nature, the universe, God, whatever you believe, can humble the power of people anytime it wants to. And we think we're in control, but we're not. Don't forget that. Number two, many of our friends in Florida have been through hurricanes, but some haven't. Florida's growing very quickly. Ask yourself if you're scared. If you are, it's okay. If you're not, you're either a fool or you're lying to yourself. You should be scared. Number three, we have an expression here in Louisiana that we use during hurricanes. It's don't get stuck on stupid. If your gut tells you to leave, leave. Now, I know you're worried about your home and your property and it being looted maybe, or you just feel like you need to be there. It's not worth it. If your gut tells you to leave, leave.
Yeah, Senator, that's some great advice, actually, very bluntly put, but very importantly said that way. I want to get to some news with you. This was a big news week. You had the release of the IG report, and you have fired FBI Director James Comey coming out and saying, guess what? I deserve an apology. I'm scratching my head on that one. Does he deserve an apology?
No. The Wall Street Journal called Mr. Comey Hurricane Comey, and I think that's a very apt description. He left destruction in his wake. His major character defect, it's clear to the American people now, I think, it's clear to me, is his breathtaking arrogance. I mean, the man could strut sitting down. The laws he violated, the rules he violated, were specifically designed to protect our country from people like him. He did immeasurable damage to American institutions like the FBI, like the Department of Justice. I think we'll ultimately find that he tried to interfere in President Trump's election. I think we'll ultimately find that he tried to interfere in Secretary Clinton's election as well. And I mean, just the breathtaking arrogance. And for him to say, well, I had to do it for the good of the country. I mean, who appointed him Pope or President or God? He did it for the good of Mr. Comey. And it's just a sad, sad commentary, but we've got to get to the bottom of this. The American people need to know that they can trust the FBI. It's the premier law enforcement agency in all of human history. They're mostly fine men and women there. It's okay for them to have political beliefs. They're intelligent people, but they can't act on them. And Mr. Comey did, and it was just wrong.
So in your time in Washington, do you believe something of this scale there's an opportunity to get real accountability? People look at this and say, James Comey's off the hook. How can that be?
Well, I'm not going to second guess Attorney General Barr. My experience with him is he calls it like he sees it, but this thing isn't over.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, we've got to get to the bottom of all of this. I'm afraid we're going to find that there were some men and women at the FBI and the Department of Justice and maybe the White House, not many, but some, who acted on their political beliefs and tried to influence an American election, whether it was for or against Trump or for or against Clinton. And they can't do that. Nope. They can't do that. And then we've got to find out, we've got to lance this boil, and the American people are entitled to know what happened.
Well said, Senator.
They need to know what happened.
We've got to leave it right there, but we appreciate your candor as always. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Senator.
According to a